episode of Ken's training, and today's training is going to be on doing an annual service on this Laars boiler that's right behind me. I think the age of this boiler is about 10 to 12 years old. I'm not 100% sure. The model number is EW, that's Paul William -1825. Right now I've got the power switch off because I don't want the boiler to get hot. I want to inspect the burners. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this plate off here so I can gain access towards the burner section. So that'll be the first thing that I'm going to want to attack, is opening that up. And then we're going to go from there. Alright, I want to give you a progress report so far. First thing we did was remove the panel that covered this section right here. Then, once that happened, you can see the header, which is that black portion right there. That's a natural gas header that needs to come out. The problem is that this gas piping here was all interconnected. So the first thing we did was shut off the natural gas valve, which is right there. You see that that is perpendicular to the gas pipe, so that's off. And then we loosened up this union right here, and then we actually removed the union right there and right there. Then we propped up the gas line on this block of wood, so that way it freed up that bottom header. That bottom header is now self-supporting. Now to pull that out, I need to pull out, let me show you. There is a 5/16 inch hex head screw there, one right there, and then also, hold on, let me pan back. And then also there's this plate in the middle. I'm going to have to address this plate here in the middle. There is some screws, 5/16 inch hex head screws that are held in there too. See if I can show those to you. Okay, right there. It's covered up by that sealant. I'm going to have to reseal this after everything is said and done. And then there's some down in the bottom there too. Up against the, I don't see it from this perspective, but it's down there too, I believe. So that's what we're going to work on now, trying to get this header out of here. Once we do that, we'll have access to the burners. Alright, we got it to the point where we're ready to take out the header. We'll show you that right now. Alright. What I want you to do, these wires are connected here. So I want you to turn it around there, no higher. Now that foot, you're going to have to step where I am because I need that space. So we put down, and come over here, change places. Lift it up. Just hold it gently for a minute. Okay, so that was the procedure to take out this section here, which is the header section for the natural gas. Then you can see where how it feeds into each of the burners. Those are the feeding tubes right there that feed into each of the burners. Now the burners are going to be down in here. Let me show you that. Alright, so this is what the burners look like when they're in the boiler. Okay, we decided that we're going to remove this natural gas header right here because it's just in our way and causing us too much of an obstacle. So for the wiring, we've already disconnected the wires to the gas valves here, here, and this one here, making notes about where everything was going to be connected. And now we're going to pull it out. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, I'll show you what the next step is. The next step is we have to pull out all of this here in order to pull the burners out. And I'll show you what I mean. We got a lot of screws that we got to pull out. Alright, now the burners are these round items here. Those are all the burners, but we want to gain access to the burners. In order to do that, they're all held in by this plate right here. So then we have to pull off all the screws that go around the perimeter all the way around this here, and there's a lot of them. So we have to take off all those screws all the way around to see if we can start pulling this out. So that's what we're going to work on next. Alright, what we've done so far is we've removed all the perimeter screws all around the circumference of this piece of fan housing, if you want to call it that. So all that's been removed. Then we took a utility knife and we cut in right there, and I'll show you as an example. Hand me that knife. So then I took the utility knife and then just scored in where the sealant was holding that hostage in there, or holding that as a tight seal. I cut that. Now we're getting ready to go ahead and pull this thing out. So here we go. Let's see if we can do it. Alright, so let me start on this end over here. that we've gone that far. Now the next thing that we need to do, let's see here. It looks like we're going to have to remove all these 4 screws that are surrounding each burner, and then that whole thing will come off. That's what it looks like to me right now. Let me just digest this for a second or so. Alright, so what we've done is we've pulled off the screws that are right there. That we're holding the four screws holding each burner in. As a matter of fact, we're still doing that because there's so many of them. He's on that right there. We still have a few more to go. Then we also pulled off all the screws that are located on this row all along the top. Then we're going to see if we can pull out this sheet right here. Should come out. Alright, there it is. We have finally gained access to the burners. This plate here, let me try to show you that. This here was the plate that was right here the entire time. Now, this is what the burners actually look like. Now this is how much energy it took for us to gain access to the burners. So we'll go ahead and take a wire brush here and try to clean these off a little bit. You can see some powder in there and so forth. Some of the holes look a little weird, but we'll go ahead and clean off each of these burners. Looks like there's over 20 of them, or something like that. Plus we'll do an inspection down in here. It looks like there's just insulation down here, but we'll verify that everything is okay here and give you another view as soon as we can. It looks like what you can do is take out the burners and then you can pull back the insulation and then you can take a look inside. Let me show you that. Hold on. Alright, so this here is what it looks like inside the firebox. You can see the burners that are still in place right there. You can see them right there. And just kind of like what it looks like inside of here. There's just some dust and rust. And let's see what it looks like up here. Then it just goes up there, up the flue box. Just to show you that. Hang on. There's the heat exchanger tubes right there. So it shows you what those look like from inside this perspective as well. Alright. Alright, so there we are so far. Just to give you an update, we're going to go ahead and just remove all these burners and pull out the insulation and just clean things up. Alright, this is the part that I want to get. It's like an insulation blanket that surrounds the burners. You can see right there where it's just kind of completely fallen apart and disintegrated. So I'd like to try to get a replacement one of those. Everything else looks okay. We have checked out the burners, and all the burners, there's 20. Another thing that I want to replace is this sight glass right there. It's very dirty. You can hardly see through it anymore. So I'd like to get a replacement one of those. It appears to be cracked as well. I can't really see the fire. So that's another item I want to replace. Okay, welcome back to our boiler annual that we're doing on this Laars boiler right behind me. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been to this property because we had to order some parts, and it took 2 weeks in order to get those parts. So let me show you what I got. I got a brand new sight glass that I'm going to install here. The old sight glass is cracked and hard to see through. Hopefully with this sight glass we can see the flame when we actually have a fire in the boiler. I also purchased, because I'm going to need to redo some joints, I got this product here, which is called Red Devil, and it's a silicone sealant, high temperature. So I got that. And now this here was one of the most important parts that I ordered, which was a brand new blanket. These holes here is where all the burners go through. The old blanket is right over here, just to refresh replacing. You can see how I got red devil. Once I put this metal back in, I got to redo, excuse me, all of this red devil high temperature sealant, so I got to pull this off. So this has to be cleaned up. Now, see the old blanket here? You can see how it's disintegrated, how it just fell apart there. So this is the new blanket that we're going to be replacing. Now the first thing that we're going to do is I got my air compressor over here, and we're going to take some compressed air and we're going to blow out the coils to try to clean those up. So that's going to be one of the first things that we do. Here's a picture of the air compressor over here. Just a small little air compressor, just enough to build up 110 pounds of pressure, and then I got a spray nozzle to spray that out. So we're going to get going with that in just a few seconds here. Alright, so inside here is the furnace housing. I'm going to take this here, my compressed air, I'm going to go in, I'm going to reach up as far as I can, and I'm going to just go through and blow out the coils. So we'll just capture just a few seconds of it at the beginning. You'll probably hear the compressor kick on as the pressure goes lower. It'll do an automatic start. But just to show you what it is that I'm doing, I just put some foam down here because I got to kind of lean way in there. So here we go. I blew all that out inside of here to clean that out. Now I'm just taking a vacuum. When it did it, it blew a bunch of soot all over the boiler. So I'm just kind of going to take this vacuum and I'm just going to go around and just vacuum everything up. Now underneath here, there's a bunch of soot here. I'm just going to vacuum that up as gently as I can without disturbing the insulation. So that's basically the next step. We need to just kind of clean it up before we go to get the burners to get ready to get put in. That's it for now. Okay, now that I've vacuumed up all inside there, this old RTV silicone, I'm just taking a scraper like this, and I'm just kind of, since I'm putting down all this stuff, I'm just kind of picking that out and cleaning this up a little bit so that it'll be a smooth surface when I go to put it down. So this is the next stage that I'm at right here. Is I'm just going to clean up this gasketing surface so we can get the burners ready to put in. Alright, so I'm cleaning out the burners with my compressed air. So I'm taking it like this. So basically that's what I'm doing for each of the burners. Also when I did that, it gives a good close inspection of each burner. Now this particular burner is in good condition, but I found 4 burners here that I'm going to have to replace. Now let me show you this one here. See the crack right there? This is a cracked burner. Also, right here, it's a little hard to see. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up. But I can tell that my flame pattern is not going to be proper right about where my pen is at, right there. There's a hole right there. So between, just one of these is a problem. but you know, this is a bad burner. This is so I'm going to replace this burner. Now let me show you another one. Here's another one. It's very, very slight, but right there is a break. So I'm going to replace it right there. Just to gain access to these burners takes us 4 hours, just to take this boiler apart. So I want to make sure every burner that goes back in here is 100% perfect and has no imperfections. I don't know, you know, how much longer this one's going to last, if it's going to create a bad flame pattern inside there and cause turbulence in the firebox. So I got to look at the rest of the burners, but right now we got 4 that we want to replace, so that's going to delay us out a little bit further. Hello and welcome back. The last time I left you, I had to get 4 new burners because there were 4 cracked burners. The 4 new burners came in, and I want to show you those right now. I am running solo right now, so I got to kind of do the camera work, which I'm going to try to show you, the audience, everything as best I can. Plus, I got to get the job done. So I'm going to try to just demonstrate to you what is happening. So let me jump behind the camera. Alright, so here are the existing burners, the 4 burners that I want to replace. There's the 4 brand new burners, $70 each. The gaskets are $10 each, so it's $80 for one setup. It's quite expensive. Now, the burners, I need 20 in total that are going to go in the boiler from here to here. So these 4 new ones, I'll just put them down here at the end. So I'm working on that right now. Once I get those in place, then I can get the next piece up, and I'll show you that when I get to it. For now, let me show you a little friend that I came across. Here he is. Hopefully you can see him really well. He's my pet little beetle. And he's a really nice guy. These are the things that you come across in these types of environments. This particular guy, though, I'm sorry to say, is no longer with us. He passed away somewhere in the boiler room a little while ago. Anyways, that's him. We could give him a name. We'll call him Harry. So I'm going to put Harry away for now and get back to this. One important thing that I want to point out, this is where the flame is going to come out of the burner. So when you put the burners in, you want to make sure that this tab right here is at the bottom. See that tab right there? Because when that's at the bottom, the flame is pointing up, which is the way that you have to have it. So I got to make sure I don't put them in some weird way or something like that. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out real quick. Okay, what I've got is I put all the burners in place with the correct side facing up, so they're in the boiler as back as far as possible. I put the metal down right there that's going to go up this way, and I put the insulation blanket ready to go that's going to go with it. One problem is, now let me try to show you that. One problem is that the insulation blanket is totally solid here, but I have a sight glass right where my finger is right here. So I'm going to take my utility knife and I'm going to cut out a square where the sight glass is going to go get placed. Okay, so there, I'm going to try to angle this so you can see it. There's the sight glass right there, and now when you look through, this piece of insulation won't be blocking the glass. Okay. Alright, so what I did was I laid the blanket down how it's going to go in. It just needs to get folded up. Then I took each of the corresponding burners and I made sure that they lined up exactly with the hole so that they're in the correct location Then another problem that I'm having is that this section right here, this box is overhanging this and it's messing this thing up. So I got to take this box out. These screws are drilled in this way. So what I got to do, try to show you this, is I had to remove this box here, which went on right here. Then I unscrewed the screws that held this on, the 4 screws for the motor and capacitor, and the squirrel cage blower motor. Now I'm going to remove these 4 screws here, because I had to pull all this apart just to gain access to this. Okay, now that I got those apart, this can now come out. So I have to do the same thing on the other side. You see, that was blocking me right there. It's no longer blocking me right there. Now I got to do the same thing to that one over there because it is sticking out and it's messing me up. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, now both motors are out. This one here and the box right there, and same on the other side, so I don't have that obstruction. Then what I did was to support the motors is I put them resting on the boxes, that the cage that surrounds the motor. I put it underneath so there's no stress on the wires. Now that that's all done, I am now hoping to put this next piece in. I anticipate this piece here be the hardest piece for me to put in. Once this goes in, everything's going to go kind of smoothly, but this thing here is my nightmare. Alright, so here we go. We're going to try it again. Go before in the bottom and out the top, in the bottom and then go this way, but it was pinching the insulation here and causing this to drag up, taking it out of the burners. So now I'm going to try a different technique. What I'm going to try to do is put the top in and then push the bottom in. This is that's going to be my goal. I don't know if I can do it, but that's what I'm going to try to do. I might have to get a second person here to do this with me. But basically what I want to do it's coming out on me. See it coming out here. I can't get that out of itself. Alright, that section's not working. I'm just going to mess around with this to try to get it. until I start to get the burners in where they need to go. Because I have to put in 4 screws on each burner. That's actually not bad. I can tap the rest of that in. Alright, I think I got it like that. I'm very, very close. I'm just going to work the burners and then do it and then get them in. Alright, I changed the angle of the camera so I could show you how to put the burners in. I've already done all the ones starting over here on the left-hand side. Those are all connected to that plate right there. Then, I'm right at that one right there. So now I'm going to show you basically how I do it. So here we go. That's the next one to be done. Okay. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my self-tapping screw in my drill ready. Then I need to grab the top of the burner, making sure that the tip is down. Alright, so that's one screw caught. Okay. That's 2 screws, making sure I don't strip it out. Then try to go for the top. There it is. And now the last one. Then what I do is I just tighten up with my by hand because I want to make sure I don't strip anything. And I just got 4 more burners here to go. Now, one thing that I did make a mistake on is I forgot to take into account that, which is for the glow plug. So what I'm going to do, you can see the insulation is right there. So I'm going to put the burner in directly underneath it, and then I'm just going to take a utility knife and cut away at that insulation to put the glow plug in. So that's it for now. Alright, well, I'm just taking a break here. Having some watermelon. It gets awfully hot in these boiler rooms here. Oh my God, what's this? I almost ate that puppy. Boy, you gotta watch out for what you eat around here, man. Well, that's it for now. Alright, all the burners are in right there, as you can see. Give you a little zoom in on that. So all 4 screws holding each of the 4 burners are in. Now, I want to change out this sight glass right here. So what I've already done is I took out the old sight glass, which is right here. This is really discolored and cracked. I bought this brand new one here, and I'm hoping that I can see the flame through it. I hope it was worth it because this sight glass is $105. The insulation blanket I bought was brand new. I think that was $37. This sight glass, which doesn't want to come out of the bag, was $105. Alright, there it is. So there's my beautiful sight glass. Anyways, it's just held in here by 4 1/4-inch screws, and then I'll put some Red Devil around that for a sealant. I'll do that all at the end. Whenever I screw something in, I tighten it down with the drill, then I put it in my my hand wrench here, so I want to feel it with my hand, so I want to make sure I don't strip anything out. Alright, so there's the brand new sight glass. Now that that's done, I am rolling back here and I'm putting in these here screws that go on the top here. I already got one in right there holding that. So basically, let's see here. Make sure you're seeing that. So basically what I'm doing, there you go. Hopefully you saw how that comes together. These go down next, but before I get to those, just got to get some of these up here. All right, now that it's somewhat in place, I'll go ahead and get the next section ready to put on. Alright, here's the next section that has to go on. I just put a few screws up here for now just to hold that in place. I couldn't put these screws in because what's happening is this has to go in now. Now, you have to put this on this way. You couldn't put it on another way because the natural gas has to come down here and here. So this this, and I gotta hold it back there while I'm screwing everything together. So basically that's where I'm at right now. Great! And they did grab. So maybe they put 10s on the bottom and 8s on the rest of them. But basically I'm just gonna keep following that same premise. And then I'm going to get that on. Once I do that, then I might, then we'll see where we're at. Okay, I made a small mistake on my sizing. It's, the smaller of the two screws is a number 10, not a number 8. So these ones here, let me just look at that. These ones here are number 10, then the larger of the two was a number 12. So, and the way that they set it up, which actually makes sense, the number 12s are going along the bottom and the number 10s are going along the top. That's because the weight of those burners is causing it to kind of pop out a little bit. Remember, the burners are attached to this plate, so it's causing that plate to kind of kick out this way. By putting the longer screw at the bottom, it gives you that weight to hold those screws in place. So I'm just going to keep going around and putting the rest of those screws on. I got most of them on, I just got to put a few left. Alright, sometimes what we do here is deductive reasoning. I know that this part goes in here. But what I couldn't remember was, does it go this way, like this? So it's this way, or does it go the other way, or does it go this way? So I was trying to figure out which way it went. And there's a mark here that tells me where the old caulking is, and I can see these holes lined up back here. So the first piece has to go in like this. So sometimes you gotta use, it's a puzzle, and you gotta use deductive reasoning to put the whole thing together. So I'm gonna screw this in right here. The header is gonna go right here for the gas, but this has to go on first. So that's where I'm at. Alright, I have all the screws in, and I'm just before I put on my high temperature silicone called Red Devil. They just call it Red Devil right there is the name. Before I put that on, I'm doing a dry fit here with the gas to make sure that the gas is going to fit properly. So it looks to me like it's all lining up good. I just put it in, not screwing it down. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. All the burners are lining up good. So this here's what it looks like. So what's happening is that these tabs go inside of each one of the burners over there, and the natural gas comes down the pipe here into this header and then feeds natural gas into here, and there it goes into your boiler. So this is how the whole thing works. Now I got to take my Red Devil and I have to seal all along right there and there and all the way around. I may put my fan boxes in right there too, because I'm going to have to seal up all around that too. So I'm going to put my header aside and see if I can put my fan boxes back together to get that ready. Okay, I can give you an update now. I got the two fan boxes on, the one on the right as well as the one on the left. That's all wrapped up. Now starting with the one on the left, you see I put the Red Devil all the way around that combustion box right there where it goes in. Then I really tried to put it and seal up inside there is really well. The camera can only go so low. I'd have to take it off its cradle to show you the top. Alright, I'll take it off right now. Alright, there it is. I'm just holding the camera by hand, that's why it's a little shaky. But, just to show you, I sealed in all the way around. And there's the combustion box on the right hand side. There's that opening right there for the glow plug ready to go. So pretty much this is what it looks like. There's a baffle here in the middle because there's two sides of this combustion box. So I sealed up all around there really, really well. Actually, I'll get the top of that right now. It looks like I missed the top of that right there. I'm going to get that right now before I put the thing on. And there's the new sight glass all the way around, cocked. And so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch up that one section there by this baffle plate, and then I'm going to put the header on. Okay, the header is in and bolted on the left and right hand side. Bolts on with two bolts on each side. One right there and one right there. Now the next step that I'm on is the glow plug, which is going to go right there. Now, here's the glow plug right here, and I'm inspecting it for cracks and things like that. This glow plug looks in really good condition. Give you a close-up of that. So you're just looking for cracks or anything like that before you put it in, but it should work fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this in. When you wire in the glow plug, It doesn't matter which wire goes to which, there's only 2 wires, but when you tighten them up, you want to make sure that these wire nuts, you want to give them a tug, make sure they're good and tight. Since this is the combustion air chamber, what I'm going to do also is I'm just going to put a zip tie here just to try to keep that from flopping around. There we go. Okay, so that's that. That's all nice and neat now. And that's for the glow plug. So that's ready to go. Not touching anything. And that's in there nice and secure. Okay, now we can go ahead and continue on. Alright, this here is the next day. All of that red devil that you see is dried. The header is locked in, and I put this plate on right there, just holding that in with 2 screws. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting on the plates that go around here. Now that one's already done. This one over here needs to be done. Now, and I also made a mistake on something. I had the kit that was like this, and I thought originally that this gasket went with this somewhere around here, but I realized that that's not true. This doesn't go with this. It actually goes over here, right there on that gasket, so I'm going to have to redo that one in a second. But before I get to that, let me show you how to do this one here. I'll just do a little zoom in on that. Alright, so basically there's 3 parts. There's this gasket, and then there's 2 of these here. Now this one goes on top like this, and this one goes in the back like this here. So basically I'm just going to take this, put it in the back, put this one up top, and then once I get it all lined up, I want the edge of this to be flush with this. And I want to pull this back one kind of taut because I want it to be tight around this pipe. Then once I get all that squared away, it takes 4 self-tapping screws right there. Do the back plate. Alright. That creates a seal around here. Alright, now I'm going to correct this mistake. I got to do it on both the left and right hand side. So the first thing I want to do is pull out these 4. Actually, there's 8 screws. Let me pull out these 8 screws. Then I'm going to take the utility knife and I'm going to score inside here. Where I kind of made the gasket out of Red Devil. Then I'm just going to push this back a little bit while I get this gasket in place. Try that again. Alright, here we go. There we go, and that's a nice tight fit now. So basically I got to do the same thing to the other side, but that's how I corrected that mistake there. So I got one more to go, one more of these gaskets to go on the side over here, as I did the same thing on both sides. So I'll fix that right now. Okay, I've completed fixing the gasket over there and on the other side. Now I want to put some red devil around this this point right here. Let me try to get that so you can see it. Right there. So I want to get that nice and clean for the red devil. So I got an air hose and I'm trying to wipe everything down to make sure it's clean. As long as I'm doing that, I might as well blow out the whole inside. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the red devil around there now. Alright, now that piece has been red devil, this section here are red deviled all around that. I did an inspection all around the firebox, everything's good. I'm ready to put this panel door back on. There's a gasket here so I don't require red devil on this section. I guess the hardest part will be for me to hook up these two screws because this is kind of drifting a little bit that way. I might have to do these two screws, pull it over, and then put the other screws on. There's a sight glass here. I cleaned that up really well with the rag that I've got nearby, which is right here. I just made sure that was nice and clean before I put it on both sides. Alright, here's the natural gas pipe ready to go in. It's heavy and large, so I got to call a second person to give me a hand. But basically, that's where I'm at. I'm just going to take it, lift it up, put it into the two natural gas portions there, and then there's the supply right there. So, alright, the natural gas header is in place. Alright, when you want to tighten down on the unions, you want to use what's called the double wrench technique. Now let me show you here what I'm talking about. I've got two pipe wrenches right here. Here's the union. Now, the way this coupling works is that this one moves this way in order to tighten. So this one's got to come up. But I don't want to just do that by itself. I want to put a backer wrench here because I don't want to disturb any of this. So you adjust your pipe wrench accordingly to get on this back one here. Then you come up here and you tighten that without disturbing anything else. You tighten that up slightly. There. Now you notice all I did was tighten that. Nothing else moved. It's called the double wrench technique. It's very important because you don't want to disturb the joints. I'm going to do the same thing to the other unions and I'll button those up right now. Okay. Now that's open, so I've got gas coming up to this valve right here. So I'm testing all of that. Basically, all I disturbed was this one union right there anyway, so that's pretty good. Alright, so now that I've got the natural gas on, I'm going to hook up the electrical to the natural gas valve, so I'll get that ready. I don't want to light this boiler off today because I just put that red devil on around that seal. I want to put the fans on because I don't want to blow out that red devil. I want to give it overnight to cure. So I'm just going to hook up the electrical. Now for the electrical, I've got wires here that go to the main valve, and then this gas valve on the left, and these wires that go to this gas valve on the right. Now, whenever I take something apart, I always make myself a little notebook here, and so it tells me that for the main valve coming in, it's wire numbers 1 and 2. It splits off. The one on the left is going to get the gray and yellow wire, and they're going to get, the gray goes to PV, the yellow goes to MV, and I'm sorry, the yellow goes to PVMV, which is the one in the middle. And then the one on the right, it's brown on top, then yellow, and MV is empty. So on my wires, I got numbers 1 and 2 labeled, which is this yellow and purple. So whenever you take something apart, you want to make a diagram and you want to know where everything goes. So now, it's going to be easy for me to go ahead and put this back together again. Because I don't have to do a guessing game or look at the schematic or anything. I got 2 wires inside of here. All I got to do is take wire, and I even labeled them wire 1 and wire 2. But it's a coil, it doesn't matter, but I still just wanted to make it idiot-proof so I didn't have any problems. So I'll go ahead and pull off these wire nuts. Feed these through this black grommet right here to prevent any wire chafing. Alright, so here's the gas valve on the right. I've got 2 wires. One is yellow, one is brown. Now, I know according to my cheat sheet that the one on the right, brown goes on the top to PV, yellow goes on PVMV. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Alright, inside of here, is those connections. You'll see 3 connections there. Hang on, the camera is just having a tough time because it's a very tight quarters there. So there's 3 connections there, PV, PVMV, and MV. So on the top one is going to go the brown wire, the middle one goes the yellow wire. So I'm going to go and connect those right now. Alright, that's it for the electrical. All the wires are connected. Now I'm just going to wait for tomorrow to start this up because I want that red devil to cure overnight. But basically that is the complete job here, and then we'll do a startup tomorrow. Alright, all the electrical is completed. Pretty much that is the complete job. Except I got to do the startup tomorrow, and then I want to test all the safeties, check the operational aspects of the boiler out. But for the work that I've done so far, that's where we're up to date. We're just waiting for that red devil to cure, so we'll give it till overnight. So that's it for now. Okay, welcome back. I'm here. It's the following day. We're going to do a startup on the Laars boiler that is behind me. So let's get right to it. This will be the first time that we started it up since I did all the work changing out the burners. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the switch on, and also switch on the side of the boiler over there. Now, one thing that I did do is I added some indicator lights on the natural gas valves, so when they come on you'll actually see them. There's a green lamp right there for that natural gas, and then an orange lamp, and then a red lamp. So basically what's happening here is when the natural gas comes down the pipe, there's a main gas valve right here. When this valve opens, this red light will come on. When it comes down to the T gas valve is the orange. So right now, it's going through a startup sequence, and the glow plug is located right there. So the way the boiler wants to start is it wants to do this half. Okay, you see the lights that just turned on? Okay, we're gonna have flame right about now. So there's your flame coming on into the boiler and proving and so forth and building up the temperature going through the boiler. Now it's this loop is already hot, so I don't know how long this is going to stay on for until it makes the set point. Let me see if I can show you the flame. Alright, there's the sight glass that I installed. Trying to get the camera. Yeah, there you go. Now you can actually see the flame through the sight glass that I replaced. And it looks good from here. Okay, there's the stack. You can see that it's burning nice and clear. Nice and clean. No smoke whatsoever. Nice clear skies. So that's working out real well. And let's go back into the boiler room here. One thing that I did when I started this boiler up for the first time and I had both of the fans on, I did go around with my hand to see if there was any air leaks because there's a gasket here and I wanted to make sure that we were nice and tight. And indeed, there was no air leaks. This was actually a good seal. There's no natural gas leaks here, so this boiler is pretty sound. So I just wanted to point that out. And there you go. We got nice stack temperatures coming up. Now that needle was all the way down to 0. So that's coming up nicely right there. So this boiler is turning out to be really good. Alright, so basically that is going to conclude changing out the burners on this Laars boiler, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please click the like button down below so I can get some extra likes, and of course check out my channel on YouTube called Ken Training for more exciting videos and so forth. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.